Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Entertainment News.
You can't stop dancing when you do awesome things like that.
That French really takes it out of you.
Yeah, was that French? I thought it was French-Canadian.
I had some brie this morning, and it really, brie and French bread, it just does that to me every time.
It does.
I don't know what it is.
It makes you speak as a French.
That had a little bit of Italian in it, too.
It makes me speak as a French.
That was Fritalian, right?
Fritalian.
That's a spicy meatball.
That's a spicy meatball.
You have spicy balls. Meatballs. I saw.
Speaking of spicy balls, we've got Scott Parkin.
Yes, Miranda Parkin here this week. You're not going to want to miss today's episode.
This is in no way an awkward introduction. Welcome back, guys.
I'm the spiciest ball here.
I appreciate you offending multiple races and being inappropriate on the way in.
That was
excellent.
Really good. Record time.
Yeah.
I'm part German. I'm 50% German, so I can do French and Italian voices, and they offend me all the time.
I know a French guy, so.
Whenever you start doing those accents, keep us posted. I appreciate that you covered all of it in 10 seconds. French, Italian, the voiceover community, people with balls, and spice. Thanks for having us, fellas.
Yeah, we're excited. So, last week we had so much fun talking about your incredible show and everything that you're working on. And this week we've got a couple extra questions that maybe might get a little personal, but then also might be tell us a little bit about how do you even get into this? Like, where do you find your inspiration and stuff? So, Cam,
yes, we would love to know.
We want to know.
Well, I'll tell you what.
Oh, God.
Cam has an amazing first question, don't you, Cam?
How did you all get started in this? Scott, tell us what was the
Comet Casino or in voiceover?
No, in voiceover. Just
voiceover.
how did you become what you are today?
I started in radio as an intern, handing out tanning oil and trying to get laid in Sacramento. So
that was last year.
Shut up. Shut up. Jesus Christ.
Makar Kalim.
I started in college as an intern at KCAP Radio, and then I bullshitted my weekend job. We got fired. My partner Kevin Anderson at the time made a tape, an air tech of our comedy that we had done. Sent it to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and they had us out for an audition.
Oh wow!
They called me and said, have you ever been to Oklahoma? And I said, that's one of the square ones in the middle, right?
Oh, Oklahoma, where the wind comes sweeping down the plain.
Yeah,
right.
so
now you've offended every decent singer as well.
Well, yeah, I know.
and
State of Oklahoma.
And Rogers and Hammerstein.
Yeah.
So I started in radio when I was 21 and bounced around the country as the highest paid migrant workers, because you get fired and all your shit's in the middle of the country. You got to move somewhere else. So at some point after the 92 Olympics, I covered in France. I came back and the door code was changed. Wow. You have
It's okay. He has French friends.
No,
That's right.
It's okay.
I have a French friend. It's okay.
His name's Francois.
He's
a pilot. He's very hairy.
Yeah.
Yes. He was born compatible with Velcro.
Aren't we all?
I know, right?
I'm just glad to have thumbs and be walking upright.
Yeah.
So the last time I got fired from radio, I was already doing on-camera commercials and improv and voiceover.
Excuse me, left to pursue other opportunities.
Yes, that's too many fucking quotes, man. I thought you were
okay.
Jesus Christ.
They're bunnies.
You smell copper? That's
Bye,
how
guys. Bye.
I've had too much of this.
How did you get started?
When I was very small, I did my first voiceover job. I did a couple more because I just loved reading things out loud. And the agency was like, this is awesome. And then I got a job. I got a call back for Lucy in the direct-to-DVD Peanuts movie.
No, you booked the role. They wanted to hire you.
Oh, okay. Well,
that makes it all better now.
Thanks, Mom.
Better, yeah.
Thanks, Mom. Hashtag thanks, Mom.
My mom was like, no, I'm not going to take you to the job. And I didn't get the job. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to do voiceover from now until when I was 16. When I moved.
Jeff Danis at DPN said, we can't, you talk to my ex. Anything to do with me was bad. So I was a voiceover actor, and Miranda had booked national commercials and stuff.
Hey, this is my tragic backstory.
I was part of it. So Jeff Dana said, we can't send her out if we can't deliver her for the job. So she had to stop auditioning.
But it might have been a blessing in disguise. Who knows? We'll never know. But from then until age 16, when I moved to my dad's house full time, I was doing choir. I did choir for 9 years, and all the while in choir and in my classes when I wasn't paying attention because I wasn't medicated for attention deficit disorder.
You've said that 3 times.
Anyway, when I wasn't medicated, I was just drawing and doodling and, in the margins, like way more than any child should. And also drawing in my choir sessions as well, just for fun. And then in sophomore year, I was like, okay, maybe I should take an art class because choir, I don't think I'm going to follow through with that like as a career. And then I learned that you could do animation as a job. And I'd never taken an art class before.
But the choir teacher at Santa Monica was kind of mean.
No, he was great.
Did you like him?
He was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He was really good. He had a documentary made about him called
but you didn't
Big
like him
Boys.
as much as Mrs.
No, he was
Benjamin.
really he was hard on the choir because they were like one of the best in the country. It was crazy. They would go to like Italy to go sing, and he was great. And he was just like
France.
France. Oh.
No, he was.
La Romane Contia restera au chemin sublime rock de Corbe. I don't know what that
Je parle français très bien.
Français.
J'ai étudié pour 8 ans quand j'étais jeune.
De l'enfant de.
And we're off the rails.
Yeah.
6.5 minutes in.
Anyway, I was like, Mr. Hulse was like, you're an incredible singer, you're amazing, but if you don't want to do this like as a career, you should probably like maybe try something else in the nicest way possible. He was just like, you're an amazing singer, but if this isn't what you want to do full time, like it's probably not for you, even though you have a great voice. So I'm like, okay, cool. And I was like, I really love drawing, and you can actually do animation as a career. Let me take a sophomore drawing class. So in sophomore year of high school, I started drawing classes. But the thing is, in sophomore year, usually people have already taken drawing classes in middle school and freshman year. So it was kind of here's a cool assignment for you to do, and I will help you along with tips and tricks, not a how to draw this thing. So I was already like kind of, I was good enough to keep up in the class, right? And then the next year I moved to AP Art, and that was really great. So I never took a proper, like, here's how to draw this thing class. So I guess I consider myself self-taught. But yeah, I went to junior college. I took animation. I took concurrent courses in high school
At the college.
as well at the college. So I did basically 4 years of junior college, technically 2 full-time.
Well, nobody does 4 years at a junior college unless you're drunken at your mom's house. So when they finished high school, they already had 12 units of college credit. So then the next 2 years were spent at getting the rest of that. And then it was a pandemic. They were going to move out. And then it was like, I'm not going to keep going to college if it's just going to be on Zoom, and I'm already working in the industry. So in 2020, no more college. And then 2021, she moved out of the guest house here and has been at an apartment in Santa Monica doing art and voiceover for a year and a half.
Almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
I wanted to ask you guys something.
Yeah.
What are there any questions you have for me, like as an artist? Because I want to know, like, what you guys want to know about the artistic process.
I would love to talk to you about where do you get your inspiration, and are there times when you feel empty, and what do you do to actually recharge and refill, other than repainting your garage door every year?
Well, there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I watch so much television. I watch all these animated shows. I watch Solar Opposites. I watch Inside Job. I watch Gravity Falls. I watch.
Yeah, but you watch White Lotus and Succession.
I'm getting to that.
Yeah.
In terms of animation,
all the time.
I'm talking about in terms of artistic inspiration, animation-wise. All of these animated shows, I kind of just like, I store in my brain. And I also see a lot of my artist mutuals on Instagram they're doing like some incredible stuff. Like I follow storyboard artists and character designers, and I see like, oh, I love the way that they draw eyes. Can I try and draw the eyes like that? You know, and I'll do a study and see if I can replicate it. You know, and then I'll like take a little piece of their style and then put it into my style.
You also have a massive reference library.
That's true. I do have a massive.
Because your single dad was like, how can I help? Here's the book of art from The Hobbit. So she has like a 50, 60 book reference library.
I got a lot of books.
Yeah.
How do you feel out a character when you're making one in terms of personality? Like obviously they're so closely related, and as you're drawing, you're generating a personality through your art. How do you do that process?
That's true. It really depends on how I would start it, because if I'm starting with the script, because I kind of had an idea of maybe what the characters would look like before we wrote the script. But what I will do is I will kind of focus on like an archetype of a character and then kind of build from there. Like, I don't know, like for the character of Harper, I wanted to have her have a really good shape to her. She's got this like hair that goes like that, you know, and you can see it on the front cover. So she has this hair that's like so distinct. And one of the incredible things about
just narrate.
One of the great things about a lot of characters and main characters in particular is you can recognize them just by a silhouette. So I wanted to have her have an incredibly recognizable silhouette. You can see that hair from a mile away, you know?
Yeah.
Hair that can be seen from a satellite.
Like Marge.
So I actually started with the hair for Harper.
Okay.
Okay.
That's interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's like it's a silhouette thing, you know, because if you see Homer Simpson, you can imagine what his shadow would look like, you know, or like Lisa, you know, that's the stars. It's really like your eye can go to it immediately, you know, and I don't know. Silhouettes are really important.
How do you see style changing right now artistically? Because you had in the 2000s you had the Ren and Stimpies and the crazy like out there animations that were almost look like anybody could draw them. Or is that changing, or is that like
it's going in all directions?
It's going in all directions. I think animation since the dawn of streaming, like
say it a little more profound.
Since the dawn of streaming, animation has gone.
We'll cut to a big sunrise with some bees and different stuff. You guys can cut that in later.
I think it really depends on the style of animation that you want, because kids animation and adult animation are very different in the way that they're drawn. Like, you know, Simpsons is drawn different than, I don't know, Wee Baby Bears. And you kind of like,
and then Solar Opposites.
And then Solar Opposites. A lot of adult animated cartoons are kind of going off that like the Rick and Morty bandwagon. And
what about
Family Guy and Simpsons? There's a lot of shows out there that are like similar in style to that. Like, you know, your Breckleberries, your Paradise PDs. And then you have like the Archer style, like, you know, that's like more comic booky. And then you have the Invincible style, where it's like Invincible, Voltron, what's the other one? Vox Machina, you know, that kind of pseudo anime style. So animation is kind of going in all directions right now, especially since it's a really weird industry and kind of a scary industry to get into right now, especially with all the cancellations. But you know,
but they're gonna buy our show because it's different. A show like this, a show like this, with a cast like that, kid like that, drawing stuff. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be big, big, big.
You should be an actor that sells stuff, like commercial actor.
You should try that.
You should try that.
Someone goes, man, you sold out. I'm like, dude, I'm a commercial actor. I sell out as fast as I can for as much as I can.
So for me, Arcane was phenomenal. Like when I saw what they did with that series, I love that animation style. Like it was just, it was insane.
Years to make. It just looked like this long, incredible painting. It was just beautiful.
Yeah. So the intentionality.
And when you see that, it means it cost a shit ton.
Oh yeah,
a shit ton to make. We're finding that out really quickly.
Miranda, how do you folk? You do so many things like singing, voice acting, drawing, now developing this Comet Casino. How do you focus your energy on one thing to get something like this done? Because I know Jason, myself, we all love to do so many different things, and you just tend to spread yourself out really thin. So how do you manage that?
It really depends on the day. If I'm having a really creative art day and I really want to draw, or I really feel like drawing, I'll draw. If I want to have a break day where I feel like singing, I'll feel like singing. But I have ADHD. I have with an attention disorder, it's kind of difficult to focus. That's the whole thing. That's the point.
That's the whole point. Why would you even have ADHD, Cam, if you're not going to use it?
I know, right? I always say that's a superpower. People are like, exactly. It is. It really is.
It's so weird because you were talking about earlier all the projects that we've kind of started. I am 100% sure that you have ADHD. So two people with attention disorders.
You've said that 3 times today.
Yeah, I have.
1, 2, 3, 4.
That's OCD. That's the wrong one.
I know.
But having two people like that, it's great because we can come up with so many ideas and crazy ideas, and just take them all and put them all together, and I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna hyperfixate on this for like 3 months, and then stop, and then never talk about it again. So we talk about making things into things, and we have all these ideas. And then I work on them for a long time, and then I'm like, okay, no more. So it is a superpower because you can think of so many ideas in such a short amount of time, but it's also kind of terrible because if you don't have the proper organization or the proper people follow through and the people to get the job done, it's infinitely more difficult.
But we've been on this for 2 years, and she's got 500 hours in it, so some of that's bullshit. It's hyperbolic.
But I don't think that it would have ever gotten made if Ed, our showrunner, had not come in and kind of organized it.
I thought you were going to say because my dad constantly forced me to do this, even though I didn't want to.
Anyway.
That's what you said the last podcast. You're like, my dad really pushes me to stay on stuff. But without a doubt, without Ed Yeager, it doesn't become a viable script. And he is represented by APA for literary. It's a giant agency that started in 1962. They saw the 90-second teaser that you guys saw and said, we want to be involved. Let's have a strategy meeting.
It's amazing. It's so good.
That's the big news. We're now represented by APA.
So we were like,
that's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah. So we had our first strategy meeting with them week before last, and it was like, okay, when we get all the ducks in a row, it's going to go out to all streamer. Here's a list of all the animation studios and your titmouses, your bento boxes, and every place you would ever want to see Miranda's stuff is on that list. And then the agency supports and bugs them to watch it. And then hopefully we get a meeting and they like it. It's opposed to how it was before this happened, where it was going to be Miranda has connections at Apple Plus and Netflix and people that like them. So we were going to say, hey, here's this. So it's a giant change because they represent, 50 Cent and Mark Ruffalo, and they're a massive lit agency. So that's all Ed Yeager. And that's really, it takes so many different things to click into place. The A-list dream cast. And I've had Jeff Burns and other folks say the same thing. I've never seen a cast like this assembled. I've never seen a cast of that many superstars. That and this savant building the world, and Ed, our friend, and everyone supporting us and sending it out and buying shirts. And it's a lot of, we're voiceover actors first. So when this thing gets through the net, everybody gets up to bat. You know what I mean? If we have any say in anything, everybody will get to audition for stuff. We're going to work hard to get ancillary characters in every episode. So we get a voice or two from our group of people. Who knows whether we'll be able to say, I want that guy. Give me Jason. I don't want a Jason type. I want Jason. God damn it. I'm sure I'm going to smoke by then. But if we get through the net, everybody gets up to bat. So it's a community thing. I'm sorry. So APA is in charge, and we're just sort of standing back and going, okay, I hope someone likes it. Go ahead, Jason.
Yeah, no, I like the idea of all, that the rising tide
Rising
lifts all the
tide.
boats, and it's really true, especially if there's an intentionality behind that, because when you're creating something, if your care is the people around you and the people that have helped you get where you are, and you include them in that process, I think that's such a great reward. I like that approach to creating something.
We have a very long memory for people who are supportive, because I was asked to be divorced when Miranda was 3. So there were a lot of people that stepped in and helped prop me up while I got my things. And then so many different women provided, mother figures for her. And just everyone has always been so helpful, and vice versa. I've worked on so many pilots for free.
Right.
Miranda Stanton, the guy that did our music, Adam Gubman. Miranda did huge amounts of art for the guy. He's a phenomenal Disney composer, and he insisted on doing the music.
Yeah, he was like, I'll be really, really, really bad if you don't let me do this music for you. Like,
Yeah.
no pressure.
And the score is brilliant. And Tim West at Rebel Alliances, who, does Halo and giant films and all that. I've known him since back at the Ocean Pacific Post. He's been there for 20 years. He donated all the sound mixing time. I mean, and
it sounds great.
It sounds insane.
Amazing.
Sound move. I mean, there's in some of the scenes, there's 27 different sound sources.
I would actually watch the entire movie just as still frames like that without even any animation. It's that enjoyable.
Engaging.
It is. And that's why my question was.
We're going to send you the link right after this so you guys can see the whole thing.
Beautiful.
It's only 10 minutes, but we're really proud of it.
Yeah, I want to say something about the trailer that you guys created. A lot of people are in who are watching our show, or upcoming artists. People want to know more about this process. I think that trailer was incredible because, first of all, it set a great tone. The way that you introduced the character and the way that you carried it through, you tied in an air of mystery to these characters. You created an atmosphere that was engaging. And I think just the thing that she's pontificating and talking about in the very beginning is just these little unexpected teases, like, my dad died, here on the planet, they call that, natural causes. It's unexpected. So each little step is something that's unexpected. And the world that you created is unique. It's engaging. It's interesting. You can show that the story has some depth right away. So there's really funny, lighthearted tones on the top, but that is supported by an obvious understanding of depth and emotional depth, which I think is encouraging, which is why when I see that trailer, I get excited about it, because it's not just a cartoon that a kids can enjoy. I think it's something that's like, wow, that's a lot of depth. That's going to challenge me, and I'm going to enjoy that process. So is that what you went into when you're creating the trailer? Or how did you know what was going to be in the trailer?
Real quick, that's just a teaser. There's no voiceover. That's the first 90 seconds of the pilot.
Yep.
So there's no voiceover or anything like that. So what you want is you want to introduce in a pilot, you want to introduce who the people are, what's happening, and make them want to know more about these people. What's beautiful about having a veteran television writer is that in that first 90 seconds, you know who we are, where we are, and what's likely to happen.
What's the purpose?
Yeah, what's the purpose?
Like, what's the motivation?
In the first 90 seconds. So thank you. I'm glad you noticed that. We worked real hard and edited the hell out of it. And a lot of that is M. So a lot of when it was time for him to die of natural causes, when she told me about this a year ago, she's like, and then the monster goes, he's got these giant teeth, but he chokes the guy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it's hilarious that instead of eating the guy's face, he chokes him.
And then I wrote the line.
Funny.
I wrote the line, he just stopped breathing because the guy was choking him.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
And the deal on that is all Miranda. So
yeah. And I like that because it's a setup, payoff, and you did it consistently for 90 seconds. So it's like it was great. It was brilliant.
Our
Enjoyment.
template has always been Arrested Development, and they used to say in most shows when the show is long, the jokes get cut and the story stays. Not in Arrested Development. Yeah. Arrested Development the jokes would stay, and then they'd just have Ron Howard fix it. Joe didn't know that he was going to do that. He would. So they just, they could fix it with narration. And that's what we do with Harper.
And I think that that's a great vehicle. I haven't really seen a lot of I haven't seen any animated comedy with a narrator.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like that would cut out on so much animation. And you could also play it for laughs. You could also go and then an incredibly terrible and horrible space battle happened. Harper was on her way to, and you just cover that in narration and cut out the giant space battle that could happen for
and
laughs.
you let the audience imagine what it was.
Exactly.
Yeah, which is fun. I love that.
You do a blank screen and go, just imagine what this would have looked like.
Exactly.
Screen intentionally left blank.
Oh, yeah. For budgetary reasons,
Right.
we want you to create what you would have thought. We don't want to tell you how to think about this. That's actually really good.
Or, do like a little quiz. What do you think happened? Is it A, B, or C? It was C. Anyway.
It was C, this IKEA cabinet, which is available at IKEA.
I just think that narration is such a fun, it's a really fun device when it's used well. If it's not used well, it's a crutch. But if it is used well, I think it can be a really, really powerful addition to a story.
A good voiceover, I love, because it's that moment when you read a book, you get internal dialogue all the time,
Right, exactly.
And so it's fun in a film when you kind of have a moment where you can slip into their brain and hear something they're thinking and then come back out again. I like that. It expands the story.
I forgot about Martin Sheen in Apocalypse Now too.
Yep. Oh gosh, yes.
Christmas story, anybody?
Oh God.
Yeah.
Hey fans, call in with your favorite narration in film or television.
Yes, tell us
Right.
what's your favorite. Maybe we
Pause the video right now and put it in the comments. Your
Yes.
favorite, right?
We'll pause for you.
Yeah.
And we're back.
Thanks, and we're back.
Great.
So yes. Oh wait, unpause.
Unpause.
So
there we go.
Scott, I've got a kind of a more personal question from you as someone who can relate with you in a lot of ways. Single dad thing. When you're a person who is pursuing something like an entertainment craft or a creative craft, which isn't necessarily at all stable for a long period of time, and sometimes you have. So yeah, it isn't. Surprise. So how do you balance that family life and the investment into your child with the necessity of being available all the time for production or for film? Well, what did you do and how did you even, and do you think you did it well?
No, I think I made huge errors. I made errors all the time, but post stuff. Post, you make your kid cry. You just post happy stuff. No, look, as you might imagine, I run a pretty tight ship. I had no fucking idea doing. I don't know now. I was very fortunate to have, I lost all of my income and had to, I was $500,000 in the hole went through a 7-year vicious divorce.
Oh,
Thanks,
man.
Mom.
Yeah. Thanks, Mom. Let's do a push it on. Thanks, Mom.
Thanks, Mom. Hashtag thanks, Mom.
And here we go. It was
All
a
right.
terrible divorce. And
so, fortunately, during that time, commercials were popping and I was able to make a decent living. And so I went from a postage stamp apartment at my stepsister's where Miranda's bed was right there. And then I bought the house a second time. So Miranda could live in one house as opposed to 4 different houses in a year. At the time I had, some good commercials running, so I was okay. And it allowed me to work because it's a weird gig, it's either you're working or you're not. So on days that I wasn't working, I was at the school. My mom was a teacher. I love kids and I love working in her classroom. And I would fly my mom down, who was a 35-year first grade and kindergarten teacher. And she would work in Miranda's room all the way until we were asked to not show up in middle school.
And I want to say, I think that, I might not do it the same way, but if I ever have kids, I think the model of I know it was I know it was a struggle for you it was struggle. Thanks, Mom. No, I know it was a struggle, but the fact that you took me to museums and had me go camping and do experience things rather than paying,
a nanny.
I think going to museums and aquariums and going out camping, those are some of the best memories that I have. And
me too.
Okay. I think those are some of the best memories that I have are of camping up and down the coast and going tide pooling.
I didn't know what else to do. I literally didn't know what else to do other than do all the shit that I'm doing with my dad. So crabbing, fishing, spearfishing, surfing, all that shit was the best thing I could do to survive. And it all, the Blue Planet, we had all those.
Oh yeah, all the nature documentaries.
The narrator at Richard Attenborough saying jellyfish.
He goes, jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
So started that. So jellyfish. So all that nature stuff was. Oh my God, what do I do with this kid?
Well, what would you say to yourself? I'll ask both of you guys this. I guess first, Scott, what would you say to yourself if you could go back, 15 years to yourself before you went through everything? What would you think you would tell that guy, that young fella?
You're not going to have you're not going to have Miller Lite and Ford at the same time, probably again. So save some of this money. Maybe don't drink as much. I don't know what I'd say. I would, all of that stuff built who this person is, and my favorite person in a genius, not in an Einstein way, but in a sort of lesser, milder genius sort of way. A little around the edges. I don't know what I would change. My friend, I guess I would probably try and value relationships more.
No, fuck that. Drink more.
They're charming. They grow up in such households.
She turned out great.
The poise, the grace.
The grace.
Yes.
She is beauty. She is grace.
She can't do? Yes.
So many things.
I don't know. I just, everyone goes, oh, that's a fun age. For me, they've all been really, really fun. Even this obnoxious age is quite fun. I'm glad we both lived through it, because Miranda was committed as a danger to herself and missed 300 days of high school and still graduating with honors. We were both a little suicidal, if we're very honest. And really,
but I was more suicidal than you
were. Absolutely more.
You have to do this when you say that,
dude. You were in Silmar, and they had shiny tables and no edges.
It is 100% a competition, and I'm winning.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I think I'm just really glad that they're alive. So when you get that close to where someone doesn't want to be on the planet anymore, and they won't talk to you because they're being manipulated and frightened, and once that happens, you just value it much more and you try a lot harder.
What would both of you say to people in the entertainment industry, whether they're new at it or have been at it for a while, that are
run for your Go! Get out! Look in my eyes! Don't look back!
Leave!
If they
they're not kidding.
How does somebody stay motivated during the ups and downs of trying to do something in this career?
Try and experiment, try new things. For the love of God, try painting, try sculpture. I had a sculpture class that I thought was a 3D design class, for Maya, actual animating in 3D. No, it was 3D design, designing actual objects. And our first assignment was to create a sculpture with duct tape. And I thought that was awesome. I was going to drop the class, and I didn't. And I did not regret it. I loved that class, even though it had nothing to do with animation.
Was that the golf hole? You had to create a miniature golf hole?
We had to create a miniature golf course hole, and then we all played the golf course hole. Just try and be afraid to just experiment with your style. Go, just do whatever.
Kind of the same for voiceover. When we all started out, when I started out in radio, I was doing Bill Murray from Caddyshack. My voice is toast from yelling at soccer games, but we all start doing impersonations of other people. right? And then when you get into commercial, you're like, oh, I got a version of that. When you listen, I have my own thing. So I think it's almost the same model.
It's definitely, I think it's very similar. Like try new things, try accents that you wouldn't normally do. Like
which ones?
Like, I don't know, like Scottish or Irish or something.
Like
but
what does that sound like?
One second. I'll do the impressions. I'll be your pony in a second.
Just trying to get you
I'll
work.
be the show pony in a moment.
Just trying to get you work, pony.
Dance, pony, dance.
Make some money, pony.
Right.
I don't want to dance.
So like my biggest voiceover game role was the voice of Nagi in Neo: The World Ends With You, which is the same company that does Kingdom Hearts, and it's a great game. It's on the Switch, and
it was pretty cool.
It was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But the one thing that they said, they were like, okay, so we have voice references, and that's something that you see a lot in sides, like voice references. Peridot from Steven Universe, Futaba from Persona 5, and they both have like nerdy kind of just like that, very nasally. So like I took my Peridot impression that I used to do for my friends and like merged it with my voice, and I got the job. So I think doing impressions and getting out of your comfort zone is really important in voiceover. So
Hank Azaria, every one of his
right.
Simpsons voices, actually the death ray is used for eagle. It's fucking Jerry Lewis from the Nutty Professor.
Nutty Professor, yeah.
Ralphie's a good boy. So Edward G. Robinson, So those are great ways to find your own voice.
If somebody wants to actually look up, either of what you do for work or find out more about the Comet Casino, where do we send people?
So for me, my Instagram is Parkin Art.
Parkin Art.
Like my last name and art, no spaces, no nothing. And if you want to see more of the Comet Casino, it's literally the Instagram username is The Comet Casino. And I'm on Instagram a lot. So if you DM me, you say like, hey,
why would they say it in that voice?
Hey man,
why do they talk like that?
Do you have any advice for a young animator or whatever? Just DM me, man. Like I'll respond. I'll be like, hell yeah, I can't give you the best advice, but I will give you some advice, and it's up to you whether to take it or not.
They just started building the Instagram page when we got signed. So that's happening.
Doesn't that feel good to say when we got signed?
Yeah, when we got signed.
I love hearing that. When we got signed.
We aren't signed. The
show.
Comet is represented by APA.
That's insane.
It's nuts.
That's amazing.
The first part
incredible.
Of the job,
it's really incredible.
Miranda's work in front of as many people as possible to get her experience storyboarding, character design, background. So that job is already done because of APA. It now goes to everybody, and everyone gets to see the job. So
they all get to see my work and view me personally.
What about you, Sir Scott?
At Scott Parkin Actor.
So clever. That's my
Scott,
handle.
Hi, Scott Parkin. How'd you come up with that name? Yeah.
I thought actor from the Latin word poor.
Struggling. I think it means struggling too. Struggling as well.
Yeah, struggling. Yeah, struggling.com was my original.
Struggle.net.
Build your house on mud. Also, the Comet Casino gift shop where we've got a couple of these to buy. So please buy them.
They will put the link in the description for you.
So also it has the.
We have to now.
It has the entire script, right? So this is a read-along graphic novel, comic book. Stop telling me to be quiet. This is my voice.
Don't tell anyone about the script.
Spoiler alert.
Shut up.
Yeah, so once you get your script, you have it, and no one else does. So there you go.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that.
That's a Comet Casino. They'll put the thing in the link.
That or that.
Yes.
Yeah.
That or that.
You guys, this was so damn fun. Thank you so much for having us.
Oh, our pleasure. Gosh, are you kidding? We're the ones that are the beneficiaries of your awesomeness.
This is amazing.
The first hour, I think, went great.
Now, the next 3 hours are going to be even better.
I have some stuff from my spoken word act I think you guys are going to really like.
Wait, we're losing you? What? I can't.
What?
Oh, man, that was so unfortunate.
What happened to him?
I think that was going to be great. I really wanted to hear that
awesome.
spoken word.
Maybe
Maybe next time. Maybe next time we'll get him on the show. I'm telling you.
Maybe.
hey, you stick around, you never know what you're going to see on Entertainment Dudes. And the most exciting part is often not us. So, but we just get the opportunity to present the incredible people who make the things that you love and the upcoming stuff that's going to happen. And to catch more about what we do at Entertainment Dudes, you can follow us here on YouTube, or if you to see the full versions, you can watch our stuff on any place that you find a podcast.
Watch.entertainmentdudes.com will take you to everywhere where Entertainment Dudes is available, and merch.entertainmentdudes.com in case you want to get a t-shirt or something. It's got both our faces on it or one without our faces on it.
And it does go to support my eating habit because I like food and sometimes I eat. So if I don't have that merch, I don't do that.
That's right.
But, so if you want to feed my addiction.
What Miranda and Scott charged us to book this show.
Oh, man.
Some of that'll go to them as well.
I got to wash some more cars.
I know. So please like and subscribe and help us out with that. Because we're not going to be able to afford to have all these guests on all the time if you don't. So
that's right. And that's from us, Entertainment Dudes. Thanks for catching in. Stay tuned next week when we have another exciting guest, or actually probably part two, but another exciting guest. Yes, who's going to give us a look on what it was like to make Star Trek in the 1990s. So you're not going to want to miss that.
All right. They're not going to want to miss it, are they?
No, I'm serious. You want to stick around for
what else awesome. They don't want to miss? They don't want to miss these other videos.
Yeah, click on some of those. Come on, look at that.
Or subscribe if you want to subscribe.
Is that your real face right there? Holy cow.
That's my cartoon face.
Yeah, you look good.
It's not my real face.